let's have a chat. So, is selling on Amazon just as sustainable or more sustainable than a normal job? Now, firstly, I hate using that term normal job. I mean, I don't think that there's any such thing really. If you are working and making money, then basically it's a job. So I hate using that term, but in this space, so many people have used the term normal job to define like that difference between doing something like e-commerce and reselling on Amazon and say like working stacking shelves or working in a kitchen or whatever it is that's along those lines. So let's talk about it. Is it just as sustainable as or more sustainable than a normal job? Now, firstly, I just want to talk about this little fear that people have, not everyone, but a fear that lots of people have about doing something that's a bit out of the ordinary. Okay, and this is why I also don't like the term normal job, because it makes people feel like doing something that can potentially make them a whole lot more money, give them a lot more freedom. Just simple things like working from home, for example, or working from wherever it is that you have your laptop. It makes people feel like doing things like that is a bit strange and therefore it can't work, which obviously isn't true given the amount of Amazon sellers out there, the amount of successful Amazon sellers out there. So first off, there's this bit of, there's like a little bit of fear attached to it. I also understand that in the sense that doing something where you are working for yourself and you have your own business, it doesn't matter what it is. If you have your own business, obviously you're taking on a lot more responsibility. In a normal job, obviously you fulfill one function. You are a cog in the machine. You will have a boss. There'll be a line of management. There'll be accountants that handle things like your payments and so forth. So you are just a cog and you do a little bit of something in that business. Okay, you have one function, you take home your pay at the end of the month, and boom, that's it, rinse and repeat. Whereas if you have your own business and you are your own boss, there's more things that you've got to do. You've got to be the full team. You've got to be the person that sources. You've got to be the person that analyzes the deal, sets up things for repricing, preps, does all the admin bits, manages your own time and obviously your own pace. You've got to learn basically a little bit of basic accountancy, or just get smart with your money to know how much to reinvest into your Amazon business, how much to pay yourself and so forth. And I can understand why that might be a little bit daunting, but it's only daunting because it's something new. And the same thing can be said for when you go into a new job. Like if you've had a history of working in retail stores, all of a sudden, if you are going into a job which is like graphic design, then it's obviously a learning curve and there'll be a new environment, new ways of thinking and new things that come with it. So it's the same thing. You apply the same thing. You just go for it anyway. You just go and do it. You learn the skills that you need to. Obviously, no one's going to be perfect straight away. It takes time. It's a learning curve and there will be bumps in the road. That's inevitable. It doesn't matter what you do in life. There will be some bumps, and we have to adopt this mindset of working around those problems instead of just giving up at the first hurdle. Now, I don't know if that's just the case in the UK or if it happens anywhere else, but and again, it's not everyone, but I would say that there's quite a few people that definitely would give up when they hit a hurdle because they think, oh, there's a bump there, so obviously it's not for me, it's not going to work out. But life is about encountering these bumps. There's no way that you can escape that. You will encounter bumps. It doesn't matter if it's to do with a job or like social life or whatever it is. There are going to be things that you need to work around, and especially if you want to make a success of trying a new endeavor that's completely your own, you've got to adopt that problem solving mindset instead of giving up, because anyone that's got a successful business will tell you that it's not problem free. And the reason why they are where they are is because it's where they persevered and they learned how to get under or over or around these problems. However it is that they've done it, it's just where they kept on learning, learned from mistakes, obviously made mistakes. Mistakes are good because they are the best teacher, and just kept on at it. And I understand why that can be a little bit daunting, but anyone can learn these skills. Like even with accountancy, like I'm not great with numbers. Like I'm not. I'm going to throw my hands up and say that I'm not. And I know that there's quite a few people out there that also feel the same way and just don't like maths. But, you know, if you can just do some basic number stuff, like basic accountancy stuff, which, I mean, you can learn very easily with ChatGPT now. And to be fair, that can be your assistant with it. For things like that, then, you know, you can do that, and just the bare minimum with that, what you need to do with that is enough to get you by until you're at the point where maybe you have some accountancy software, or you actually do hire an accountant or something like that. You come across someone that can just, you know, advise you on that because they've got a lot of experience, you know, whatever it is. There'll be enough knowledge out there to tide you over until, of course, you want to outsource that function, which is possible. You can outsource these things down the line. So, you know, it's about feeling that fear and just doing it anyway. And once you're on the other side of it, I can tell you from full-on experience, numerous times and numerous things I've never ever done before, once you just make yourself do it, you just go, right, I feel these emotions, but I'm just going to do it anyway. On the other side of it, you feel a million times better. And if you fast forward like a year, you won't even register that problem or that fear was ever a fear or a problem in the first place. It's a real transformative experience when you just do it. And on the other side of things that I wanted to talk about is, like, I basically wanted to debunk a bit of a myth. So people feel like there's more, like, far tighter and far more job security in a normal job. However, I want to debunk that because that isn't strictly true. And there's lots of proof to back me up on this. So people get a bit scared of like reselling on Amazon, for example, because the campfire tales of people getting their accounts suspended and so forth, they get blown up a lot more than what they should be. Yes, it can happen. Yes, it does happen, but not to everyone, and not just for no reason whatsoever. You have to persistently and go out of your way to and have that full intention of breaking Amazon's rules at whatever level it is, or if it's minorly, then you're doing it continually. If you are not Amazon compliant and you remain non-Amazon compliant, then what are they going to do? They are going to boot you off the platform. It doesn't matter if it's Amazon, it doesn't matter if it's eBay, Vinted, any of these platforms that you use, and you keep breaking the rules, you'll be booted off. If you have some rules at a normal job and you keep breaking them, then what do you think is going to happen? So it's no different in that sense. However, where I would say, you know, a normal job isn't superior in its security is just look at what happens. Like, keep an ear out, keep an eye out, and just think about some of the things that have happened on the high streets. Just think about what's happened out there. If we throw it back to COVID times, I mean, this stuff happened before then, but places were closing down for good and people had no jobs to go to. Lots of people lost jobs. And even before COVID, this has been a thing for as long as shops and jobs have existed. Things change. Sometimes businesses don't work and they shut down. Some examples that are going on right now, in the UK, Game, Sports Direct and House of Fraser, it's under the same umbrella. They're closing down individual units. So lots of individual game stores are disappearing off of the high streets and they're being integrated into Sports Directs or into House of Frasers, or all three end up being merged into one. I know that's the case in Meadowhall at Sheffield. Game, Sports Direct, they're no longer separate. The House of Fraser, they are all together in one thing. Where I am, House of Fraser is closing down, Game is closed down, and it's all being merged into the Sports Direct, I believe. So yeah, these things are happening. From a business perspective, it kind of makes sense if individual units aren't working well and you close it down, you merge it into something else and you widen your appeal for that unit that is doing well, then it's just a smart business move. But I've spoken to plenty of people at these stores that are closing down because it's happening left, right and centre. I've spoken to lots of people that worked at these stores and they have no jobs to go to. Like, that's it. They're given that notice, hey, we're closing down and you won't have a job after this date. And the job market is tough. I don't care what anyone says. It is a tough thing to go through. And these jobs want you to have this magic experience that you won't have unless you did that job, but then you can't get the job because you don't have the magic experience. It is just nuts how the job market works these days. Or they want you to jump through a million hoops in the course of like 24 hours to get the job, and it's just crazy. So that's a recent example. Another example is you just look at the chain of Wilko stores, like boom, 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 gone, and there's only like a handful that are open still. These things happen, redundancies happen, and the job opportunities that are out there, they have shrunk, because if you look at supermarkets, what's there at the checkouts? Self-checkouts. There's far more. In most of the stores I've been to these days, most of the stores have got self-checkouts. They've taken over however many jobs there would have been otherwise in that store, and there's not really any man tills anymore. I've seen stores that are just completely automated and they have no staff. Things will progress. Things will keep moving forward with AI and what it can do. I have no doubt that we will see a further shortage of jobs due to things being automated and things being taken over. So we have to adapt. We have to do what works. And selling online works, okay? Especially things like reselling on Amazon. It's an already established platform. They've done all the advertising for you. Everyone knows what Amazon is. So in terms of job security, I would say that there isn't any more there than what you have with having your own business online. So to me, I don't understand where it all comes from. I think it's just a case of how things have developed over the years and how people can think and what is considered as the norm. But yeah, if you're interested in e-commerce, if you're interested in reselling wherever it is, then go for it. Go for it. There's so many free guides out there. You just look at this YouTube channel, for example. There's loads of other YouTube channels. There's TikTok channels. There's podcasts. There's online guides. There's all manner of things out there that can help you learn. You just have to have that wanting to learn. You just have to push yourself to do it. And you'll come out the other end with your own business. And no, you won't necessarily jump from full-time job to full-time job doing e-commerce. It doesn't always work that way, and in fact it doesn't really work that way for many people. Lots of people will still do their day jobs alongside reselling on Amazon, and it's only when you get to the point when you're making just as much as you are making in your day job or more, and you are consistently making that amount for at least a few months, then I would start to make that transition, because then you are at least making the same amount and you've got space to grow. With the normal job, I forgot to do the hyphens there with my fingers. With a normal job, obviously, a lot of the time you are capped. Like, you'll only do so many hours in a month, and you'll only make so much in a month, and it will stay that way for a long time unless you get some kind of promotion, and then it goes up a little bit, but then you're still capped. Whereas with Amazon, how much you can earn is kind of uncapped, because it's down to obviously what you find that's successful. The more things that you can find that are working well on Amazon, the better, and that can just continue to grow. And you might do other things like go into wholesale, private label. Like, there's so much room to expand and grow in the space, and you can make a lot more. There is that potential there. It's not a quick process, but it can happen. So hopefully this has helped answer the question if Amazon is just as sustainable as a normal job. Hopefully that's given some clarity, and hopefully some inspiration if you are thinking of taking this venture, or if you are on this venture and you're maybe second guessing yourself and thinking, is this right? Should I have just gone for the job on the high street? Or, if you're having any thoughts like that, hopefully this has helped relax those thoughts. Thank you for watching.